Picture this. You're scrolling through your usual Sister Wives forum on a quiet Tuesday night, maybe with a glass of wine in hand, when suddenly your eyes stop cold on a comment that makes your heart race. Someone with claimed insider knowledge just dropped what could be the bombshell of the decade. Janelle Brown has allegedly taken Kody and Robyn straight to court for asset theft, and rumor has it she's walking away with a $127,000 victory. Now hold on to your coffee cups, ladies, because this story gets wilder by the minute. These are unverified allegations swirling through Reddit and Sister Wives community corners, not confirmed court documents we can point to. But here's what has everyone's detective instincts tingling: that incredibly specific dollar amount. When rumors float around with that kind of precision, seasoned reality TV watchers know someone either has legitimate inside information or the community storytelling has reached Oscar-worthy levels of detail. The plot thickens when you hear the alleged reason for all this secrecy. According to the Whisper Network, TLC has supposedly asked everyone involved to keep these legal proceedings under wraps until after season 20 airs. If that's true, we're looking at a network that's willing to suppress real family justice to protect their entertainment goldmine. Classic reality TV move, honestly, but let's think about this for a second. After 30+ years of watching Janelle be the steady, financially savvy voice of reason in this plural marriage circus, would anyone really be shocked if she finally said, "Enough is enough," and took legal action? This is the same woman who questioned every major financial decision, who worked outside the home to support her family, who eventually walked away from Flagstaff when the math just didn't add up. The Sister Wives community is practically vibrating with excitement over these rumors, and that energy tells us something important. Whether these allegations turn out to be fact or fiction, the sheer enthusiasm behind them reveals how desperately viewers want to see accountability in this family's financial story. Because if there's one thing every woman who's ever balanced a household budget while someone else made questionable spending decisions can relate to, it's the sweet satisfaction of financial justice finally being served. And that's just the beginning of this alleged legal drama. The deeper we dig into what could have triggered such drastic action, the more complicated this financial web becomes. Let's hop in the time machine for a moment and trace back how we might have gotten to this alleged courtroom showdown. Picture a young Janelle in the early 1990s, fresh into plural marriage with stars in her eyes and a practical mind for numbers. She brought her own financial contributions to the family pot, worked consistently outside the home, and watched as a complex web of shared assets, properties, and business ventures began to take shape around the Brown family empire. Here's where any seasoned woman who's ever merged finances and marriage will feel a familiar knot in her stomach. In plural marriage, you're not just combining two financial histories, you're creating an intricate system where multiple wives' earnings, contributions, and sacrifices get pooled together under one patriarchal umbrella. For someone like Janelle, who always maintained her own career and financial independence, this arrangement required an enormous leap of faith. Fast forward through decades of moves, mortgage applications, business ventures, and property purchases. Janelle wasn't just a passive participant in these financial decisions, she was often the driving force behind them. Remember her real estate career? Her consistent employment that provided steady income when other family ventures weren't panning out? Every woman who's been the responsible financial partner while someone else dreams big can picture exactly what this looked like. But here's where the alleged asset theft rumors get particularly interesting. If these claims have any truth to them, we're potentially looking at a situation where Janelle's contributions over 30 years of marriage weren't properly protected when the family structure began to crumble. Think about it. When plural marriages dissolve, there's no standard legal framework for dividing assets fairly among multiple wives. Traditional divorce law simply isn't designed for these complex family arrangements. The whispers suggest that as Kody and Robyn's relationship became more central to the family dynamics, financial decisions may have increasingly favored their interests over the other wives' contributions. Properties that Janelle helped finance, business ventures she supported, even simple household expenses that were supposed to be fairly distributed. All of this could theoretically become grounds for legal action if someone felt their financial contributions were being misappropriated. What makes this particularly infuriating for longtime viewers is that we've watched Janelle be the voice of financial reason for years. She questioned the Flagstaff move, expressed concerns about property investments, and consistently advocated for practical financial planning, while others seemed focused on more romantic notions of family unity. If these rumors are true, it would represent a woman finally saying, "Show me the receipts," after decades of trusting a system that may not have been protecting her interests. The $127,000 figure, if accurate, suggests this isn't just about hurt feelings or family drama. That's serious money that represents real financial harm, the kind of amount that could significantly impact someone's future security and retirement planning. Now let's talk about that number that has everyone doing mental math in their kitchen while making dinner. $127,000 isn't random grocery money or a small disagreement over who pays for gas. This is the kind of figure that suggests systematic financial issues over an extended period, and for women who know the exact price of butter at 3 different grocery stores, that precision feels significant. What could $127,000 represent in the complex financial ecosystem of the Brown family? Let's break this down like the savvy financial detectives we all are. This amount could represent Janelle's share of property equity that was allegedly mishandled. Think about all those real estate transactions over the years, the Las Vegas homes, the Flagstaff properties, the various rental investments and business ventures that required multiple family members' financial contributions and credit histories. Or consider this possibility. $127,000 could represent systematic financial diversion over several years. Picture monthly family expenses, shared mortgage payments, business investments, or even TLC earnings that were supposed to be distributed fairly, but allegedly weren't. When you're talking about a family that's been earning reality TV money for over a decade, plus various business ventures and real estate investments, those kinds of financial imbalances can add up faster than credit card debt at Christmas. Here's what makes this amount particularly telling to anyone who's ever dealt with family financial disputes. It's not so large that it screams fantasy revenge amount that someone might make up for dramatic effect. But it's also not so small that it represents minor household disagreements. This sits right in that sweet spot of serious enough to justify legal action, specific enough to suggest actual accounting. The sister wives community is dissecting this figure like forensic accountants, and honestly, their theories are fascinating. Some are pointing to property transactions where Janelle's name appeared on mortgages but may not have been properly protected in ownership documents. Others are looking at business ventures. Remember all those various Brown family enterprises over the years where initial investments might not have been properly tracked or repaid? What's particularly interesting is how this amount could represent compound financial harm. It's not just the initial money that was allegedly mishandled, but the opportunity cost of what that money could have grown into if it had been properly invested or saved. For a woman like Janelle, who's always been future-focused about financial security, that kind of calculation would be deeply personal. Then there's the symbolic weight of this figure. $127,000 represents real money that could pay off student loans, fund a comfortable retirement cushion, or provide security for Janelle's children's futures. It's the kind of amount that working women sacrifice for, save for, and plan around. If these allegations have any truth to them, we're looking at someone who decided that enough financial manipulation was enough. The precision of this figure also suggests that if this legal action really happened, someone did serious financial detective work. You don't arrive at $127,000 through rough estimates or emotional calculations. That number implies spreadsheets, documentation, possibly even forensic accounting work that traced exactly what went where and when. But here's what makes this entire scenario even more compelling from a legal perspective. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say the network executive in the boardroom. According to these unverified whispers floating through the sister wives community, TLC has allegedly requested that any legal proceedings be kept quiet until after season 20 airs. If this rumor has any truth to it, we're witnessing a masterclass in entertainment industry damage control that prioritizes ratings over reality. Think about this from TLC's perspective for a moment. You've got a cash cow reality series that's been running for over a decade, generating millions in advertising revenue and keeping viewers glued to their screens through multiple family crises, relocations, and relationship drama. Season 20 represents a significant milestone and investment. The last thing any network executive wants is real legal drama overshadowing carefully crafted television drama. But here's where this alleged strategy gets ethically murky, and every woman who's ever dealt with workplace politics will recognize the pattern. If TLC really did request silence about legitimate financial disputes, they're essentially asking cast members to suppress their own legal rights for the sake of entertainment value. That's like asking someone to delay calling the police about a burglary because it might interfere with the neighborhood block party. The timing of this alleged request feels particularly calculated. Season 20 isn't just any season, it's a landmark number that networks love to promote as special anniversary content. Marketing campaigns are built around these milestones. Advertising rates increase, and renewed interest from former viewers often drives significant viewership spikes. A major financial lawsuit between cast members could completely derail those carefully planned promotional strategies. What makes this situation even more complex is the power dynamics at play. Reality TV cast members often have contracts that include clauses about public statements, media appearances, and potentially even legal proceedings that could affect the show's reputation. If these rumors are true, we might be looking at a situation where cast members are contractually obligated to prioritize network interests over their own legal rights. The Sister Wives community is particularly outraged by this alleged network interference, and honestly, their anger is completely justified. These are real people with real financial concerns, not fictional characters whose storylines can be manipulated for maximum dramatic impact. If someone has legitimate grounds for legal action involving $127,000 in alleged asset theft, asking them to delay justice for television scheduling feels deeply problematic. But here's what's really interesting about this alleged strategy. TLC might be underestimating their audience's appetite for authentic drama versus manufactured storylines. Reality TV viewers have become increasingly sophisticated about recognizing genuine conflict versus producer-driven narratives. A real legal battle with actual financial consequences might actually generate more genuine viewer engagement than scripted family meetings and staged confrontations. The irony is that if these lawsuit rumors are true, TLC's alleged attempt to suppress the story until after season 20 might actually be creating more buzz and speculation than letting the legal process play out naturally. The Sister Wives community is actively investigating these claims, creating theories, and building anticipation that could either massively boost season 20 viewership or completely backfire if the legal truth contradicts the televised narrative. And that brings us to the most fascinating aspect of this entire alleged scenario. Now here's where things get absolutely wild, and honestly, this is when you know a story has real legs in the Sister Wives community. The moment these lawsuit whispers hit Reddit, it was like someone rang the dinner bell for an army of determined women with excellent research skills and unlimited internet access. Picture quilting circles and book clubs across the country suddenly transforming into forensic accounting units, armed with laptops and an unshakable determination to uncover the truth. The Sister Wives subreddit has become ground zero for what can only be described as crowdsourced detective work that would make actual private investigators jealous. These women are cross-referencing property records, analyzing social media posts for timeline clues, and creating spreadsheets that track every financial detail that's ever been mentioned on the show. It's like watching a masterclass in collaborative investigation, except instead of solving a murder mystery, they're unraveling alleged financial manipulation within a plural marriage. What's particularly impressive is how systematically they're approaching this rumored lawsuit. One group is focusing on property transactions, pulling public records from Las Vegas and Flagstaff to trace ownership changes, mortgage applications, and deed transfers. Another faction is analyzing TLC earnings, trying to estimate what kind of money the Brown family has been generating over 20 seasons of reality television. There's even a timeline team that's mapping out every major financial decision mentioned on the show against real-world events. The level of detail these amateur investigators are uncovering is honestly breathtaking. They're finding connections between business ventures that were mentioned once in passing during season 12 and property purchases that happened 3 years later. They're tracking down old interviews where Janelle expressed concerns about financial transparency and connecting those statements to recent developments in the family dynamic. But here's what makes this community detective work so powerful. It's not just gossip-driven speculation. These women are bringing real-world experience to their analysis. You've got retired accountants explaining how asset division works in complex family situations. Former real estate agents are breaking down the implications of different property ownership structures. Women who've been through their own financial disputes are sharing insights about legal strategies and potential outcomes. The Facebook groups have become like war rooms where evidence gets analyzed and theories get tested. Someone will post a screenshot of a property record, and within hours, 5 other people will have cross-referenced it with social media posts, show footage, and public documents to either confirm or debunk its significance. It's collaborative fact-checking at its finest, powered by collective outrage over potential financial injustice. What's really striking is how these online communities are treating this alleged lawsuit as more than just entertainment drama. For many of these women, Janelle's rumored legal action represents something deeply personal, the fantasy of finally holding someone accountable for financial manipulation that they may have experienced in their own lives. Every woman who's ever discovered hidden debt, questioned mysterious expenses, or felt financially gaslit by a partner is living vicariously through these unverified allegations. The investigative momentum is building like a snowball rolling downhill. Each new piece of alleged evidence generates 10 more questions, which send community members down rabbit holes of public records and archived interviews. They're creating detailed maps of the Brown family's financial ecosystem, tracking money flows and asset transfers, with the dedication of forensic accountants working a major corporate fraud case. And the most interesting development of all? These Reddit detectives are starting to find patterns that go way beyond just this one rumored lawsuit. Here's where this story takes a turn that has the entire reality TV universe paying attention. The Sister Wives community isn't just investigating one alleged lawsuit. They're uncovering what appears to be a systematic pattern of how networks handle legal disputes when big money and ratings are on the line. And honestly, what they're finding is both fascinating and deeply troubling. Let's start with the obvious parallels. Remember when the Duggar family faced serious legal challenges and TLC's first instinct was damage control rather than transparency? Or how about when various Real Housewives cast members have dealt with federal investigations and bankruptcy proceedings, only to have networks either completely ignore the legal reality or spin it into storyline content? The Sister Wives community is connecting dots that show this alleged silent strategy around Janelle's rumored lawsuit fits a much bigger pattern of network behavior. But here's where their detective work gets really interesting. They're not just looking at other reality shows. They're examining the specific financial structures that networks create around long-running series. When a show like Sister Wives generates millions in revenue over 2 decades, there are complex webs of production companies, licensing deals, merchandising agreements, and international distribution rights. If cast members are dealing with serious financial disputes, networks have enormous incentive to keep those conflicts quiet until after major milestone seasons air. The pattern recognition goes even deeper when you look at how reality TV contracts typically handle legal disputes. According to legal experts who've weighed in on various forums, most reality show contracts include clauses that give networks significant control over cast members' public statements about legal matters. The Sister Wives community is theorizing that if this alleged lawsuit is real, Janelle might be contractually restricted from discussing it publicly until specific conditions are met. What's particularly striking is how this alleged situation mirrors financial manipulation patterns that extend far beyond reality television. The women analyzing these rumors are recognizing tactics they've seen in their own lives: financial decisions made without proper consultation, assets being moved or managed in ways that benefit some family members over others, and systematic exclusion from important financial information. Every woman who's ever discovered her name was removed from a bank account or found out about major purchases after the fact is seeing familiar red flags in these allegations. The community is also identifying broader patterns about how financial abuse often escalates when relationships are ending. If these rumors about Janelle's lawsuit have any truth to them, the timing makes perfect sense from a psychological perspective. As plural marriages dissolve and family structures change, financial resources often get redirected to protect the relationships that are prioritized. Women who've been through divorces are sharing stories that sound eerily similar to what's allegedly happened in the Brown family situation. But perhaps the most significant pattern the community has identified is how financial disputes in plural marriages are uniquely complicated by the lack of legal protections. Traditional marriage law provides frameworks for asset division and spousal protection, but when you're dealing with multiple wives and complex family businesses, there's no standard legal roadmap. The Sister Wives Detective Network is realizing that Janelle's alleged legal action, if true, could potentially set precedents for how similar financial disputes get resolved in other plural marriage situations. The pattern recognition extends to how these alleged lawsuits get resolved too. The community is finding examples of other reality TV legal disputes that were settled quietly with non-disclosure agreements, financial payouts, and carefully managed public relations campaigns. If the $127,000 figure is accurate, it fits perfectly into the range of settlements that are large enough to represent real justice, but small enough for networks to absorb as a cost of doing business. And that's leading to the most explosive realization of all. What's happening in the Sister Wives community right now isn't just about one woman's alleged legal victory. It's become a full-scale movement of women supporting women. And honestly, the energy is absolutely electric. Picture group texts lighting up across the country, Facebook groups buzzing with solidarity, and coffee shop conversations that suddenly shift from weekend plans to financial empowerment strategies. This rumored lawsuit has awakened something powerful in the collective female consciousness. The response from the sisterhood has been swift, fierce, and beautifully supportive. Women are sharing their own stories of financial manipulation, celebrating Janelle's alleged courage, and creating a virtual support network that spans generations and geographic boundaries. It's like watching the national sisterhood activate in real time, with every woman who's ever felt financially powerless suddenly finding her voice through these unverified allegations. What's particularly moving is how this rumored legal action is inspiring women to examine their own financial situations with fresh eyes. The Sister Wives forums are filled with posts from women who are now requesting access to bank statements they've never seen, asking questions about property ownership they've never questioned, and having conversations about financial transparency that they've been avoiding for years. Janelle's alleged lawsuit, whether true or not, has become a catalyst for real-world financial empowerment. The solidarity extends beyond just emotional support, too. Women with legal experience are offering free advice about asset protection strategies. Retired financial planners are sharing insights about recognizing red flags in family financial management. Even women who've never watched Sister Wives are joining the conversation because the alleged financial justice resonates with their own experiences of being financially marginalized or manipulated. But here's where the community response gets really powerful. They're not just celebrating the rumored victory, they're using it as a teaching moment. The discussions have evolved into masterclasses about financial self-protection, with women sharing practical advice about maintaining separate accounts, documenting financial contributions, and protecting personal assets within marriages. It's like a massive, crowdsourced financial literacy workshop powered by collective outrage over alleged injustice. The intergenerational aspect of this response is particularly beautiful. Older women are sharing hard-earned wisdom about financial independence, while younger women are bringing fresh perspectives about modern relationship dynamics and legal protections. Mothers are talking to daughters about financial red flags, and daughters are helping mothers understand digital banking and online financial tracking tools. The Sister Wives community has also become a place where women are processing their own financial traumas through the lens of these allegations. Stories are being shared about discovering hidden debt, learning about secret investments, or finding out that jointly owned properties weren't actually jointly owned. Each woman's story adds another layer to the collective understanding of how financial manipulation operates within families. What's really striking is how this alleged lawsuit has sparked conversations about financial justice that go far beyond reality TV. Women are discussing systemic issues like how financial abuse often escalates during relationship transitions, how complex family structures can be used to obscure asset ownership, and how traditional legal frameworks aren't designed to protect women in non-traditional family arrangements. The community response has also taken on an activist quality, with women advocating for better legal protections for people in plural marriages, pushing for greater financial transparency in reality TV contracts, and calling for accountability from networks that profit from real family dysfunction. It's evolved from gossip into genuine social justice advocacy. And now the million-dollar question everyone's asking is, what happens next? Let's pull back the curtain on what seasoned family law attorneys are whispering about these alleged legal proceedings, because their insights are absolutely fascinating. When veteran lawyers who've handled complex asset division cases start analyzing these rumors, the strategic possibilities they're discussing would make your head spin. And honestly, if even half of their speculation proves accurate, this case could reshape how financial disputes get resolved in non-traditional family structures. First, let's talk about the alleged brilliance of timing this legal action, assuming these rumors have any truth to them. Family law experts are pointing out that pursuing financial recovery after the family structure has already dissolved, but before major media milestones like season 20 creates maximum leverage. If Janelle really did file suit, the timing suggests someone with serious legal strategy behind them who understands both family law and entertainment industry dynamics. The $127,000 figure is particularly intriguing to legal minds because it sits in that sweet spot of being substantial enough to justify litigation costs, but not so astronomical that it triggers more aggressive defense strategies. Experienced attorneys are speculating that this amount might represent a calculated settlement target, large enough to provide real financial justice but reasonable enough to encourage quick resolution rather than prolonged court battles. What's really fascinating legal observers is how this alleged lawsuit might have been structured. Since plural marriages don't have standard legal frameworks for asset division, any legal action would have had to be incredibly creative in its approach. Some attorneys are theorizing that rather than traditional divorce proceedings, this could involve contract disputes, partnership dissolution claims, or even fraud allegations, depending on how financial arrangements were originally structured. The alleged TLC involvement adds another layer of legal complexity that has entertainment lawyers absolutely fascinated. If the network really did request silence until after season 20, that could potentially create additional legal leverage for any cast member involved in legitimate financial disputes. Networks that interfere with legal proceedings to protect their business interests might find themselves facing broader liability issues than they bargained for. Here's where the legal speculation gets really interesting, though. Veteran family attorneys are suggesting that if this alleged lawsuit is real, it might represent a test case that could establish important precedents for financial disputes within plural marriage situations. Since traditional legal frameworks don't adequately address these complex family arrangements, any successful legal action could create templates that other people in similar situations might use. The settlement timing speculation is particularly compelling to legal minds. If these rumors are true, the alleged resolution happening now after major family transitions but before significant media events suggests sophisticated legal strategy that maximizes both financial recovery and public relations management. It's the kind of timing that experienced attorneys recognize as deliberate rather than coincidental. Legal experts are also fascinated by what this alleged case might reveal about reality TV financial structures. If cast members really are pursuing legal action against each other over asset management, it could potentially expose how TLC earnings are distributed, how family business ventures are structured, and how financial decision-making authority is allocated within these complex arrangements. The most intriguing legal speculation revolves around what precedents this alleged case might set for future disputes. If someone successfully pursued financial recovery from family members over asset management in a plural marriage situation, it could fundamentally change how these families structure their financial arrangements going forward. But the biggest question mark hovering over all this legal speculation is what happens when entertainment industry interests collide with legitimate legal proceedings. Here's where this entire alleged situation reveals something deeply uncomfortable about how reality television actually operates. And honestly, it's the kind of behind-the-scenes truth that should make every viewer question what they're actually watching. The tension between TLC's business interests and the cast members' legal rights creates a moral and ethical minefield that has serious implications far beyond just one family's financial disputes. Let's be brutally honest about what's allegedly happening here. If these rumors about network interference are true, we're looking at a situation where a major media corporation is potentially prioritizing entertainment profits over real people's access to legal justice. That's not just ethically questionable, it's the kind of corporate behavior that should have viewers and advertisers asking serious questions about what they're supporting. The alleged timing manipulation around season 20 reveals how calculated these business decisions can be. Networks don't just accidentally stumble into milestone seasons. They plan marketing campaigns, negotiate advertising rates, and build promotional strategies months or even years in advance. If TLC really did request that legitimate legal proceedings be delayed to protect their anniversary season, they're essentially treating cast members' real financial disputes as secondary to their marketing timeline. But here's what makes this alleged network interference even more problematic. Reality TV audiences have become increasingly sophisticated about distinguishing authentic drama from manufactured storylines. Viewers can sense when conflicts feel real versus when they feel produced. If season 20 airs with carefully crafted family drama, while real legal battles are being suppressed behind the scenes, that represents a level of audience manipulation that goes beyond typical reality TV editing and storytelling. The Sister Wives community is particularly outraged by this alleged suppression because they've invested emotionally in these real people's lives for over a decade. These aren't fictional characters whose storylines can be manipulated for dramatic effect. They're real women with real financial concerns, real children to support, and real futures to secure. When networks allegedly interfere with legitimate legal processes to protect their entertainment content, they're prioritizing fictional narrative over authentic human experience. What's really disturbing about this alleged situation is how it exposes the power imbalance between reality TV cast members and the networks that profit from their lives. If cast members are contractually restricted from discussing legitimate legal disputes that affect their financial security, that's a level of control that goes far beyond typical employment relationships. It's essentially asking people to sacrifice their legal rights for the sake of entertainment value. The long-term implications of this alleged network behavior are staggering. If major media companies can suppress real legal proceedings to protect their programming schedules, what other authentic life events get manipulated or delayed for entertainment purposes? How many real financial disputes, custody battles, or family crises get managed around television production timelines rather than what's actually best for the people involved? But perhaps the most infuriating aspect of this alleged situation is how it treats the audience. Viewers who followed the Sister Wives family for 20 seasons have invested time, emotional energy, and genuine care in these real people's lives. If networks are allegedly suppressing real financial justice to create artificial drama for season 20, they're fundamentally disrespecting that audience investment and loyalty. The Sister Wives community's response to these allegations reveals something powerful about viewer expectations in the modern reality TV landscape. Audiences want authenticity, not manipulation. They want to support real people dealing with real challenges, not watch manufactured drama designed to maximize advertising revenue. And that brings us to the ultimate question that could determine everything. So here we stand, ladies, at the crossroads of rumor and reality, entertainment and justice, with the entire Sister Wives community holding its collective breath to see what happens next. Whether these allegations about Janelle's $127,000 legal victory turn out to be fact or fiction, the conversations they've sparked and the patterns they've revealed have already changed how we think about reality TV, financial justice, and the power dynamics that shape both. If these rumors prove true, we're potentially looking at a seismic shift in how financial disputes get resolved within complex family structures. Janelle's alleged legal success could inspire other cast members, other reality TV families, and other women in similar situations to pursue their own financial justice. That $127,000 figure could represent more than just one woman's recovery. It could be the first domino in a much larger accountability movement. But even if these specific allegations turn out to be wishful thinking from a passionate fan community, the impact is already being felt. Women across the country are having conversations about financial transparency that they've never had before. They're examining their own financial situations with fresh eyes, asking harder questions about asset protection, and building support networks that extend far beyond reality TV gossip. The alleged TLC interference, whether real or imagined, has exposed uncomfortable truths about how entertainment industry interests can potentially conflict with cast members' real-world needs. Season 20 will air under unprecedented scrutiny, with viewers analyzing every family interaction through the lens of these alleged legal proceedings. If real financial disputes were suppressed to protect the show's narrative, that tension will be impossible to hide from an audience that's now hyper-aware of the possibility. What should the Sister Wives community be watching for as this story develops? First, any changes in how cast members discuss financial topics during Season 20? If there really were legal restrictions around discussing these alleged proceedings, those constraints might become obvious in how conversations are edited or avoided entirely. Second, pay attention to property records and public documents that might confirm or contradict these rumored financial recoveries. The same detective skills that uncovered these initial allegations can be applied to tracking any real-world evidence of legal settlements. The broader implications extend far beyond just one family's financial drama. If reality TV networks are potentially interfering with legitimate legal proceedings to protect their programming interests, that's an industry-wide issue that could affect multiple shows and cast members. Viewers, advertisers, and potentially even regulatory agencies might start paying closer attention to how these business relationships actually operate behind the scenes. For every woman who's ever felt financially manipulated, marginalized, or excluded from important family financial decisions, this alleged story represents something powerful. The possibility that justice is achievable, that accountability is possible, and that financial empowerment doesn't have to be a fantasy. Whether Janelle's rumored legal victory is real or not, the hope it's inspired in the sisterhood is absolutely genuine. The Sister Wives community has proven something remarkable through their response to these allegations. When women support women, when collective intelligence gets focused on uncovering truth, and when shared experiences of financial frustration get channeled into investigative energy, powerful things happen. The patterns they've identified, the solidarity they've built, and the conversations they've started have value that extends far beyond confirming or debunking any specific rumors. A fresh video is already queued up, and something tells me the next round of Sister Wives financial revelations will be even juicier than the last. Now I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you think these allegations about Janelle's $127,000 legal victory will turn out to be fact or fantasy? And which aspect of this rumored financial justice story has you cheering the loudest? The alleged settlement amount, the timing that caught everyone off guard, or the possibility that TLC tried to suppress real legal proceedings for ratings? Don't forget to tap like, hit subscribe, and keep those notifications on, because this Sister Wives financial drama is far from over.